Modern life often feels like a constant effort to stay one step ahead of the unpredictable. We build routines and buffer zones specifically to avoid the discomfort of anxiety. When the unknown spikes, the immediate human reaction is to run. Avoiding psychological dread doesn't actually remove it. Instead, it compresses the anxiety, allowing it to grow in the background until the mind becomes a chaotic, unmanageable space. Thousands of years ago, Eastern philosophy proposed a different way to handle this instability. Rather than fleeing from chaos, they suggested a method of total integration. This concept is embodied in Lord Shiva. In the massive Adi Yogi statue, his expression remains steady and unblinking, projecting a sense of immovable peace. This creates a specific paradox. Why would a deity defined by such stillness choose to wear a venomous snake, the ultimate symbol of mortal fear, around his neck? A venomous serpent triggers a primal reaction. It represents a visceral danger that moves with a speed and unpredictability that bypasses logical thought. Placing that threat directly against the throat, one of the body's most vulnerable points, is a deliberate act of exposure. It places a lethal force inches away from the life-sustaining carotid artery. Yet the serpent resting on Shiva makes no move to strike. Despite its capacity for violence, the snake remains entirely subdued and still when it is in contact with him. The presence of Vasuki proves that Shiva does not achieve peace by removing himself from danger. He achieves it by keeping the threat as close as possible. On a philosophical level, the snake is a multi-layered symbol. At its base, it represents the raw, untamed instincts, the impulses that drive our most frantic and chaotic reactions. Below that layer, it embodies the hidden, suppressed fears that we carry in the subconscious. These are the anxieties we cannot easily predict or control. Finally, the serpent represents the inescapable passage of time. Like a snake slithering through grass, time moves silently, constantly, and without pause. When instinct, fear, and time are left unmanaged, they create a relentless, forward-moving loop that feeds the modern experience of anxiety. Human nature often fights these forces, but trying to destroy fear or halt time is a futile exercise. We end up exhausted by the very things we cannot change. The mythological truth here is that chaos and time cannot be eliminated. They must be mastered by bringing them into the center of one's own existence. When wild, erratic chaos enters Shiva's field of influence, the frantic energy settles. The serpent's agitation gives way to a stillness that matches its host. Ancient stone carvings capture this balance. Shiva is depicted in a posture that is both active and structurally perfect, carrying the weight of destructive elements without losing his internal center. Numbing the senses to fear is a survival tactic, but it creates a wall between the self and the world. Shiva maintains a heightened awareness of the snake's fangs while consciously choosing to remain steady. This creates a stabilizing effect. Because the host remains entirely unmoved by the venomous creature eventually loses its drive to strike. Mastery over the unknown is reached by grounding yourself so deeply that the external chaos no longer has any leverage over your mind. This framework translates directly to the modern struggle with overthinking and the fear of failure. It changes the goal from removing anxiety to changing our relationship with it. Hiding our personal fears in the dark corners of the mind only gives them more room to grow. Unobserved anxiety creates a constant, low-level paralysis. The practice involves bringing the fear out of the shadows. It means acknowledging the anxiety and placing it where it can be clearly seen, much like the snake around the neck. Significant relief occurs when we stop spending energy trying to eradicate fear. When the struggle against the emotion ends, the mind is free to focus on the present moment. Accepting the presence of your internal serpent is the mechanism that strips the danger of its power to control your actions. A mastered mind reflects the environment of the Himalayas, vast, unmovable, and capable of enduring the harshest conditions with permanent stillness. The Trishul, or trident, stands as the final symbol. Its 3 points represent synchronizing the past, present, and future into a single, unyielding center. True power is the ability to remain entirely unshaken, even while the unpredictable forces of the universe rest directly against your skin.